If there is anything at all that I have learned about Germans, it's their efficiency. It's the fact that they love things to be put in their place. So if you're given instructions, you're expected to follow these instructions exactly as it has been spelled out. So as an applicant, it means you're expected to put together your document exactly how the university you're applying to requires it. Let's get right into the video. Today, we will be talking about the requirements for studying in Germany for bachelor's and for master's programs. So basically, I will be looking at every mandatory list and some possible lists also that might be required of you. But before I get into it, I want to specifically spell out that this is not binding. It means you have to check for the university you're applying to and the course you're applying to in that university for exactly their requirements. This is just an all-encompassing list of documents that are usually asked of applicants. So for you to do that, you have to go to the university and the course and you find out exactly what is required of you. Now note that it doesn't mean that this is how it works for every single course in every single university. So if you're applying, I advise you apply to multiple schools. That's the best way. Don't put your eggs in one basket. So if you're applying to, say, 5 universities, you have to check exactly what is required of your course in each of this university and give it to them exactly as they want it individually. So do not give the requirements from University A to University B. If it's possible, get a book, spell it out. University A for this course requires document A, B, C, D. For this particular school, it's this they require. So you give each school or each course in each university what they require of you separately and individually as specifically required of each. So don't mix it up. Not every university and every course would ask you for the same documents. So now let's get to the documents that are mandatory that every university and every course will definitely ask of you. First of all, or first thing you need to do that is required is duly completing an application form. So you have to complete an application form if you want to apply, of course, to a course or in a university. Usually in Germany, this goes 2 ways. The most popular way is via a third party called UniAssist. So UniAssist is like a body that takes applications from people applying, processes the documents, calculates your grades based on the country you studied, and converts it to grading uh, the grading points in Germany, and sends your application to the university for you if they think you meet the requirements. So it's like an intermediary between you and the university you're applying to. 80% of universities in Germany, I dare say, go through this route. So you apply through UniAssist, and most of the time you have to pay an application fee for them to process your documents and submit it to the university. And sometimes, or for the remaining 20%, some universities take applications directly themselves. So you submit directly to the university portal or admission portal. Next week, I will be giving you some names of some universities that actually accept application directly, which means you do not have to pay any application fee, zero application fee to these universities. Now, the second thing you need to, for documents now you need to put together is, of course, your passport. You need the passport data page, definitely, to apply for admission. And sometimes you need a photograph, like a passport photograph or your portrait photograph as well. Another document is your school leaving certificate. Now, not every school leaving certificate is recognized in Germany, so you definitely need a recognized school leaving certificate. So, depending on your home country, you can find out if your school leaving certificate is recognized by going to www.daad.de. So here you can put in your qualification and your home country, and you find out if your school leaving certificate is recognized and acceptable in Germany. For example, if you want to study for bachelor's in Germany and you're from Nigeria, WAEC or NECO is not enough. You need at least 1 year of study from a tertiary institution to apply for a bachelor's in Germany. So, for example, NCE, HND, OND, 1 year in the university in Nigeria would be sufficient enough for you to combine with your WAEC or your NECO to apply for admission for a bachelor's admission in Germany. In Germany, this university entrance qualifications are called Hochschulzugangsberechtigung. Excuse my German. Hochschulzugangsberechtigung, or just Abitur. And if you do not, or if your school leaving certificate, this is not if it's not recognized in Germany, you were sometimes asked to go for a 1 year preparatory course, otherwise called a student colleague. But this is highly advised because most of the time you have to be really exceptionally brilliant, and they have to see that before they grant you a visa for a student colleague. So the easiest route is for you to just have at least 1 year of tertiary institution in your or home country. But for some other countries, of course, your high school diploma or your high school certificate, school leaving certificate might be enough. You just check on the website I mentioned earlier to see if it's accepted for a bachelor's or not. And sometimes some universities would conduct an aptitude test for international students, especially from outside the countries outside Europe, to find out if they can be accepted for bachelor study. That leads me to more academic documents like certificates of previous studies you've completed. So, for example, if you're putting in for a master's program, of course, you need your certificate from your bachelor's and transcripts. So you need both certificates and transcripts of previous studies. And if, of course, you're applying for a bachelor's as well, and you're studied 1 year in your university, for example, like in Nigeria's case, then you need a transcript from 1 year or 2 years, as the case may be, of your study combined to your certificate. And as for language requirements, last week I talked about universities and the language requirements. So some universities that teach, for example, for some courses rather, that will be taught only in English, then you have to prove that you have to prove your language proficiency in English. And if you will be taught in German, you have to prove your language proficiency in German. So depends on what your university is demanding. You might be required to submit an IELTS or TOEFL certificate to prove that you have a good knowledge of English. And for some universities, that's why I said there is no exact requirement for every university, it's individual. For some universities, they might waive that requirement if you studied in an English speaking country, and if you can prove that, or if your previous study was conducted in English. So you have to check with your university, and for some university you cannot waive that. You just have to provide a certificate like IELTS or TOEFL, and in the case of German, you would need a certificate which proves that you speak German as required, whichever level you're required to speak. And finally, for mandatory certificate is a CV. So it's usually advised that you have your curriculum vitae in tabular form. You have a tabular CV prepared and show all your details in history and whatnot. And finally, for additional documents that might be required of you, depending, we have the motivation letter. So you might be asked to write a letter to talking about why you have chosen to study in Germany or in that city or exactly in the university and that course of program. So you have to talk about what motivated you to put in for the application and why and what you hope to achieve by if granted admission to that study program. And also, some universities might require recommendation letters from your previous professors or lecturers or teachers, or depending on how they demand it. Could be from a previous somebody that knows you well or somebody that is in an official position to you, depending. So recommendation letters might be required of you. And for some people, they might have to write standardized tests like GMAT or the GRE for some business schools. That's also very possible, depending on what is required of you. And finally, for applicants from China, India, and Vietnam, for example, there is the APS certificate needed. That's the Akademische Prüfstelle. So, depending, you might be asked for that. So typically, like I said before, this is an all-inclusive list, but that does not guarantee that that's exactly what you would need and all you will need. So please check with your university, especially check directly with the official website of the university you're applying to be sure that that is what you need. And please do not mix up requirements of universities. Try to separate them and submit them individually as required. So, like I said, next week we'll look at some universities that accept direct applications that you do not have to go via Uni Assist. But in 80% of the cases, you should be ready to go through Uni Assist, which would also mean paying application fees. I hope I've been able to help you with some knowledge of the documents to start preparing for and putting together. If you like this content, please like it and comment if you have questions or just want to react to the video. Thank you very much, and please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. It's a new channel and we are growing, so please subscribe if you like our content. Bye.